In this video, we are going to continue our rock, paper, and scissors project, and we coded the function check option in the previous video. Now we are going to continue. Now our program, if we look at our program, let's go to the terminal. If you come to the terminal here, when we run the program like this, RPS game, when we run it, now if the user of this program decides to terminate the program by entering -1, the program will just terminate. So we want a scenario where after the user has entered -1 to quit the program is going to print out the user score and the computer score, and inform the user whether it is the user that has won the game or it is a computer that has won the game, and whether it is a draw. So that is what we will try to accomplish in this particular video. All right, so now we are going to go to the text editor, Sublime text editor. All right, so we stop at of the options. We have checked off the options pertaining to the rule of the game. Now we have another else if. So we should have another else if. So we say else if user option is equivalent to -1. That is, the user decide to terminate the program. So we have, as usual, we have this, and then I'll just copy this. Copy this here, and then I'm going to paste it here. I'm going to save. So now if the user decided to quit the program, we want the program to print out the scores. So for that, we are going to go and create some variables. I'm going to go to the beginning of the function check option, and I'm going to declare some variables. I'm going to have a variable int user score, total user score, or let's leave it as user score is okay. Initialize it with 0, and then int comp score, also 0, and then int. All right, let's leave it for now like this. And also we need to declare these variables as static variables. If we don't declare these variables as static variables, whenever this function check option gets called in line number 42, then these values user score are going to get created, and whenever we exit the function check option, then the variables are going to be destroyed, and all the values that we store in them is going to get missing. So that and we know that this function check option, after it terminates, now this prompt will get printed, prompting the user to enter a score, whether 1 or 2, to play another game. So for after each game, this user score is going to get created at the beginning when we invoke function check option, and at the end is going to get destroyed. So for every new game, these variables are going to get created and destroyed at the end. So at the end of the whole games, when the user decides to terminate the program, we will not be able to get all the scores pertaining to the games that the user has played. So we have two ways of doing of avoiding such a scenario, by either creating these variables as global variables, that is outside any function declaration. So we can just come off here before we enter function main and declare them as global variables, or we can declare them still as local variables within function check option, but we need to declare them as static variables, and that is what I'm going to do, because using global variables has some vulnerabilities associated with that. So we should try our every possible best to see that we avoid using global variables. So I'm going to make use of this as static variables, so that they are static. Once they are created, they will remain even when the function call has terminated. That is function check option. We have reached the end of it, the end of the function call, and if you want to transfer control to function main, the values that we store in these variables will still remain, so that at the end of the game we are going to get the user score and the computer score. So I'll name them as static, and then also here I'm going to create them as static. So that is what we are going to do. Now I'm going to go down, and then we are going to make use of them. Now we say else if user option is -1. Now we are going to check. Now if user option is greater than okay, not user option, user score. If user score is greater than comp score, what do? We simply print /new line. It is a positive message. I'm going to have this, and then print the message: you have won the game. You have won the game. All right, but still we didn't track the user scores. So I'm going to go off and track each time the user won a game, we are going to increment this particular user score variable. So as usual, let me comment this, and if this, I'm going to copy this so that I know that this brace in this closing brace is this for this particular if statement. All right, okay, forget about this message. So we go off, and then beginning of the function. And so here we have it is a draw, so we are not going to increment any variable, but here where we have the user has won the game, we are going to increment the user score. Okay, and here where the computer has won the game and the user has lost the game, we are going to increment the comp score. And then next we are going to where the user has lost the game, we are going to increment the comp score. And then also where the computer has where the user has won the game, we are going to increment the user score. And then finally here where the user has won the game, we are going to increment the user score. And then here where he has lost the game, we are going to increment the computer score. Comp score. So finally here, so we can make use of it here. So else if user score, you have won the game, and if otherwise, else if user score is less than comp score, not a comp option, comp score, then we print you have lost the game. So we copy this and print this one out here. Then we can say you lost the game. You have lost the game. So we just say you have lost the game. You have lost the game, and then we can end here and then copy this. Copy this and we paste it here. All right. So here he has you have won the game. You have lost the game. So, and then finally we also need to print out now what if it was a tie throughout. It is a tie, neither the user nor the computer has won the game, so we also need to keep track of that. So for that, we also let's have another variable that will keep track of the game, because we have initialized the user score and the computer score both at 0. Now if it is a tie, then those variables will still remain at 0. And also, when the user has not played any game, maybe at the start of the game he just entered -1, -1 to exit the program, it will still print out that it is a draw. But we need to I need a way of checking whether it is an actual draw or the user has not played any game. So what I'm going to go and do, I'm going to go off there and create another variable. I'm going to call it okay, game count. Let's call it game count. So come up here and then create this variable. I'm going to call it game count int static game count. Also initialize with the value 0. So for every game we are going to increment game count. So here if user option equals to computer option, print you are both selected. Okay, so here we are checking, we have this. If the user option, that means the user has entered option and this is equivalent to computer option. A game has been played and it is a draw, so we are going to increment the game count. So come up here. I think this is not an appropriate place for doing that. Let me go up there. If user option equals to complete is a tie, so immediately when we print this message, let's increment the game count. So a game has been played and it is a draw. Then next, also here the user has won the game, and if user option is -1, that means that the user has played a game. I am just choosing choosing 1, sorry, not -1. So we should also increment here game count. So we increment the game count. Also here okay, still this is still one game. And also here the user has made a selection of 2. A game has been played, so we need to increment the game count. So we need to increment the game count. So we increment game count. Okay, and also here the user has made a selection of 3, so we need to increment the game count. Game count. Finally, that is where the last place where we are going to increment the game count. All right, so now we need to check whether a game has been played at all or no game has been played at all. So if any of these 2 if conditions, neither of them has evaluated, so now we need to check if now game count is greater than 0, then we know that the game has been played. But a game has been played, but neither of the players won any game, then we can print that we can be sure that it is a draw this time around. So we said the final game is a draw. The game is a draw. The game is a draw. So we know that it is a draw. That is, neither the computer has won, or neither the user of the game nor the computer has won the game. So also end. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it here. If else, then we can now, all right, so you notice, then that means that the game count is not greater than 0. That means that the game count is 0. Then that means that no game has been played. Yes, no game, because if at all any game has been played, then the game count is supposed to be greater than 0. So we know that here at this stage we are sure that no game has been played. Then we can see here also, let me check this, the game is a draw, no game played. So we can say no game no game has been played. No game has been played. And then we end else. Okay, so we have this, no game has been played. All right, so here we are. And then finally we need to print out the final score. With the final score, and the user has entered -1, that means he wants to exit the game, so we need to print. Okay, I think I have it on the clipboard, so let me print the final game, the final scores, the final scores are, final scores are, and then we can have this, the computer for you. Then we have, so we need to get rid of this since we can't have more than 2 arguments. So you, okay, it's supposed to be inside here, not outside. Here you, what are we going to paste? The user score. So user score, new line, so I can have my new line character here, and also here, excuse me, so also here we have, sorry, all right, so we have also here, let's get rid of this, new line, so we have the U, and then the computer score also, com score, so we print out the computer score. So the final score are user score, com score. Now we are done with this. Now if the user has not entered within the options either 1 or 2 or 3 or -1 to exit the game, then he might have entered something contrary to what we are expecting. Then also we need to have a check for that. Then else, we know that the user has entered an invalid entry, so just print out invalid entry, invalid entry, or invalid input, invalid input. Let me look at the invalid input. Okay, so we have this. Let me note this, that exclamation mark, or this, invalid input. So we have and else. So this is our game so far. Let's go and compile it, and then if there is any trouble, we come and fix the issue. So except we go to compile it. Right, so clear the terminal, GCC, we type GCC, we have rps.c, and I want to output it as rps. Alright, so we have issues we need to go and fix. So we have line number 58, line number 58, I think line number 57 there's supposed to be a semicolon, so line number 58, let's check 57, 58, line number 57, 58, 57, 57, 57, 57. Yes, we forgot to add a semicolon here, that is why it affected line number 58. Okay, then which one again? Then we have line number 86, else without a previous if, so line number 86, 86, 86. Then we didn't do the indentation properly. So if else if line number what, let me get it, line number 86, line number 86, 86, 86, 86, 86, else if user option is 1. Okay, let me track it. If user option, this is where it started, line number 58. If user option, what am I doing? All right. And if user option equals to computer option. Okay, line number 86. Else if, why are we having this issue? We didn't have it before. Else if then else if just -1. Okay, let me recompile it and see. Let's recompile it and see whether that issue with the first error affected up to that. Yeah, so you can see we don't have any issue again. It isn't an issue because of the first error that the first error affected the other one. That is how errors are usually behave. So now we can run the game, RPS game, and then see. So enter an option minus 1 2 3 0 -1 quit. We enter 1, so it is a tie. The reason we both selected scissors. So let me go for 2 now. You won the game. Your option paper, computer option rock. So since we won the game with option 2, let's continue entering 2 again. Now it is a tie. Now let me go for option 3. It is a tie. Okay, let me go for 1 again. It is a tie. Wow. Then let me go for 2. You won the game. Okay, so now if I decide to quit the game, -1, you have won the game. The game is a draw. Wow, so we are having confusing something. So you won the game. Did we won the game, or it is a draw? So and the final score are U2 computer 0. So where did we actually, how many win did we have? So this here, it is a tie here. We won the game here 1, and we won the game here 2. We won the game here 2. We won the game here. No, we won the game more than 2. So we won the game 1. We won the game here 2. We won the game 3 times. We won the game three times. It is just accounting for only 2. I still finding that the game is a draw. So something is wrong with our code. We need to fix it. So let's go back and then see what the issue is. For every win, let's make sure that we keep track of that game count. Here it is a tie. We only need to keep track of the game count. So here we have keep track of the game count. Also here the user selected 1 now, and then the user has won the game. We need to keep track of the user score. Here he has lost the game, computer score. Here the user has lost the game, we increment computer score. Here the user has won the game, we increment user score. And then here the user has won the game, we increment user score. Also here he has lost the game, we increment the computer score. Then here if user score is greater. Okay, that is finally where we have if the -1. If user score is greater than computer score, you have won the game. And else if user score is less than computer score, then we know that you have lost the game. You have lost the game. Okay, now after that we need to track if game count is greater than 0, then the game is a draw. No, because it will still print, because the game will still be greater than 0 whether the user, that is why we're having this message printed out. So else if let's have it as else, another nested else if another condition, else if game count is greater than 0, then the game is a draw. And else then no game has been played. And the final score are user score and computer score. Okay, and every other thing else is invalid input. So let me save it. Let me go back and run the game. But why are we having incorrect count for the user score? Okay, we need to keep track of that. So here we have user option, checking user option against computer option, and incrementing only game count because it's a draw. Neither the user has the computer has won. So here user option, here the user has won the game, we incremented user score. Computer won the game, we incremented computer score. This is all right. The user has lost the game, we incremented computer score. The user has won the game, incremented user score. The user has won the score, we incremented user score. Also here the user has lost the game, we incremented computer score. And then finally we print our message. All right. So let me save it. Let's go back and see whether this issue has been resolved. So we'll compile it again, no error, and then we run the game. So 1, you lost the game. 2, you lost the game. 3, it is a tie. 4, invalid input. Perfect. So this is working. 1, you won the game. 1, it is a tie. 2, you won the game. So let me enter -1 to quit. The game is a draw. The final score so this is working. Yeah, the final score is 2. The game is a draw, and of course the game is a draw. The final score are U2 and the computer 2. Okay, so let's replay the game again and then see another something. 1, we won the game. 2, it is a tie. 3, it is a tie. You won the game. Invalid input. You won the game. -1. You have won the game. Your final scores are U3, computer 0. So is it right? Is it right? Let me go and track the game. You won the game 1. We won the game here 2. We won the game here 3. And we won the game here 4. We won the game here 1, 2, 3, 4. So we won the game 4 times, and we only accounted for 3. That was what I was trying to check, and the computer has not won any place in any place, so that is why it is having 0. So I will check this issue, and then in the next video where we are going to see how we can correct that. So thank you for watching this video.